alone out here on the plain, as though a giant had once stridden by and placed them there carelessly, a trifle now forgotten. His own people called such stone circles crowns, and this fire shone from within the crown. He knew then it was no Kuman campsite. They were far too superstitious to venture into such a haunted place. He crept closer on his hands and knees. Grass pricked his hands. The moon set as the first faint wash of light spread along the eastern horizon. The fire blazed higher and yet higher until his eyes stung from its glare. When he came to the nearest stone, he hid behind its bulk and peeked around. That harsh glare was no campfire. Within the ring of stones stood a smaller, upright stone, no taller or thicker than a man, and it burned. Stone could not burn. Reflexively he touched the wooden circle of unity he still wore. He would have prayed, but the Kuman had taken his faith together with so much else. A woman crouched beside the burning stone. She had the well-rounded curves of a creature that eats as much as it wants, and the sleek power of a predator, muscular and quick. Her hair had the same colour as the height of flame that cast a net of fire into the empty air. Her skin, too, wore a golden bronze gilding, a sheen of flame, and she wore necklaces that glittered and sparked under the light of that unearthly fire. Which fire? She swayed, rocking from heel to heel as she chanted in a low voice. The stone flared so brightly that his eyes teared, but he could not look away. He saw through the burning stone as through a gateway, saw another country, heard it, a place more shadow than real, as faint as the spirit world his ancient grandmother had told tales about, but with a sudden gleam of colour, bright feathers, white shells, a trail of dun-coloured earth, a sharp whistle like that of a bird. Then the vision vanished, and the stone snuffed out as though a blanket of earth thrown on the fire had smothered it. Stone and fire both were utterly gone. A moment later the lick and spit of everyday flame flowered into life. The woman fed a common campfire with dried dung and twigs. As soon as it burned briskly, she made a clucking sound with her tongue, stood and turned to face him. Ay, Lord! She wore leather sandals bound by straps that wound up her calves, and a supple skirt sewn of pale leather that had been sliced off raggedly at knee length. And nothing else, unless one could count as clothing her wealth of necklaces. Made of gold and beads, they draped thickly enough that they almost covered her breasts, until she shifted. A witch indeed. She did not look human. In her right hand she held a spear tipped with an obsidian point. "Come," she said in the Wendish tongue. It had been so long since he had heard the language of his own people that at first he did not recognize what he heard. "Come," she repeated. "Do you understand this tongue?" She tried again, speaking a word he did not know. His knees ached as he straightened up. He shuffled forward slowly, ready to bolt, but she only watched him. A double stripe of red paint like a savage's tattoo ran from the back of her left hand, up around the curve of her elbow, all the way to her shoulder. She wore no curved felt hat on her head, as Kuman women did, nor did she cover her hair with a shawl, as Wendish women were accustomed to do. Only leather strips decorated with beads bound her hair back from her face. A single bright feather trailed down behind, half hidden. The plume shone with such a pure, uncanny green that it seemed to be feathered with slivers from an emerald. "Come forward," she repeated in Wendish. "What are you?" "I am a man," he said hoarsely, then wondered bitterly if he could name himself such now. "You are of the Wendish kin." "I am of the Wendish kin." He was shocked to find how hard it was to speak out loud the language he had been forbidden to speak among the Kuman. "I am called—" He broke off. "Dog? Worm? Slave girl? And piece of dung were the names given him among the Kuman, and there had been little difference in